A few hours' time to discuss the situation in Libya. It was called at the request of Russia. Let's get more from RT's Kihnu March, who's live for us in Washington. Kihnu, do we have any more information on what's going to be on the table this evening?
Well, Anissa, the fears are that the coalition forces could be going beyond the UN-authorized no-fly zone measures, and Russia has called a Security Council meeting behind closed doors to once again weigh in on the situation and to look at the results of the intervention. There are lots of questions on the table as to the limits of the intervention. Will it be really enough for the coalition forces to just disarm Gaddafi? The question that everybody's asking here, is Gaddafi the target now? The Pentagon says no. In fact, the Defense Secretary Robert Gates said targeting Gaddafi goes beyond the UN resolution on Libya, and the U.S. is determined to stick to the resolution. But the thing is that the wording of the resolution basically is all-inclusive, short of occupation. We've heard criticism from the Arab League. They say the military operation has gone beyond what the Arab League backed. Also, the head of the Arab League says what we wanted was civilians' protection and not more civilian deaths. We know that it was really crucial for Western powers to have Arab countries' assistance so that it doesn't appear as if it's just the West cracking down on yet another Arab nation. But with this criticism coming from the Arab League, their support could be diminishing.
Now, Washington insists it plays a supporting role here, but so far the U.S. has been at the vanguard of the military operation over Libya, with American generals we're hearing being in command there. A bit of a contradiction here. What is the Pentagon saying about this?
Well, the U.S. military says pro-Gaddafi forces are right now scattered after all the air assault. Coalition forces are currently patrolling the new fly zone. The Pentagon says they do not rule out more strikes, quote, if and when the need arises. The U.S. has launched missiles from its warships and submarines in the Mediterranean, targeting at Gaddafi's air defense systems and clearing the sky to make sure Gaddafi is not able to shut down any planes of the coalition forces. We know that the U.S. fighter jets, along with French warplanes, had carried out strikes on Gaddafi's ground forces as well. And currently, the U.S. contribution in the strikes really outweighs the contribution of all other coalition forces combined. There have been reports of civilian casualties as a result of those attacks. So those are some really alarming reports here. And officials here promise it's going to be a fast war. Obama said there will be no U.S. troops on the ground. Gaddafi's military indeed is no match for the capabilities of the coalition forces. It took just hours to cripple his air defenses.
And how are people reacting stateside to the news of these military operations, having been engaged in two military campaigns for almost a decade now?
Well, let me say, if you watch American television, you get all this really positive impression of America's involvement and how justified it is and so on. But if you look at the polls, the majority of Americans oppose the U.S. involvement in the intervention. Fox News gives 65%. They're already unhappy that their government is spending billions of their tax dollars on endless wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. People are already asking questions about the cost of the involvement. Just this Saturday, in one day, the U.S. shot $75 million worth of missiles on Gaddafi's air defenses. So the majority is definitely do not cheer to the drums of war here.
All right, Kihnu March live from Washington. Thanks for that. Well, political